Chi with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Rights groups have gathered in the central city of Taichung to remember the people killed and injured in May's deadly metro crash. The groups held a minute of silence at 12:27 p.m. At that time, exactly 2 months ago, a construction crane fell from a high-rise building onto the tracks of the city metro. 1 person was killed and 10 were injured when their train crashed into the fallen crane. Authorities are still investigating into what went wrong. Part of major Taipei road remains blocked because of a sinkhole. It's the second big sinkhole to appear in the capital this year, and the latest in a string of collapses that have been swallowing streets across the nation. Brent Thomas has the story.
This sinkhole on Nanjing West Road is causing chaos in a major traffic artery. The hole appeared on Saturday at 1 meter deep and over 1 meter long. But it's grown. On Monday morning, many commuters had to detour as work crews tried to patch up the widening hole. Workers expect it could take up to 4 days to finish the job. Nearby residents say this isn't the first time the roads had structural problems in the past few months.
上次的我没有拍，可是就是小小一个塌陷，因为住在这边，每次车子经过都会有点震动嘛，我就会害怕。
Sinkholes occur when water from sources like rain erodes the soil holding up the asphalt. And they're becoming a more common problem in Taiwan, which has seen several high-profile sinkholes this year. There was this collapse in the northern city of Jubei in April that drew international attention for swallowing a Tesla. And in May, another one in Taipei's Xini Business District. This weekend's sinkhole has been difficult to fix, as incoming tides cause water from a nearby river to seep underground. Engineers now think they know how the sinkhole started.
比较可能的原因应该是比较深层，大概7.8米的位置有一支70公分的污水管。针对邻房的安全部分呢，初步来看基本上是没有问题的。
But in a year of many cave-ins, it's still unclear how officials plan to prevent sinkholes before they get out of control. Justin Wu, John Van Trieste, and Bryn Thomas for TaiwanPlus.
A series of earthquakes have rattled Taiwan's outlying Orchid Island. Orchid Island lies 60 kilometers off Taiwan's southeastern coast. The remote tropical island is a popular tourist destination. At least 6 earthquakes ranging from 4.3 to 5.3 in magnitude struck on Sunday. There have been no reports of damage or injuries. First berries, now cheese. Big box store Costco is in trouble again for selling tainted products. An inspection found Formaggio brand imported cheese contained traces of ethylene oxide, a toxic chemical that can heighten the risk of cancer. It's banned in Taiwan, but the chemical is legal in the US. Costco says about 1,300 customers bought the cheese and is asking those who did to return it. The retailer could be fined of over $6 million. The tainted cheese comes after Costco had to recall batches of frozen berries in Taiwan in May, over concerns they could be contaminated with hepatitis A. A new issue is arising from Taiwan's rapidly aging population. Rattle reports on the future of care for double-aging families.
A hand-painted present and cake to celebrate another year of life. But the celebration also highlights a growing problem in Taiwan. Families like this are referred to as double-aging households. That's when both the caretakers and the people they look after get older. Xiao Chun is 40 years old and has cerebral palsy. She lives with her family and relies on them for her daily needs. But as her parents grow older, her future care comes into question. What will happen after they are gone?
他还是很多岁啊，爬楼梯啊，做什么都爬不上去啊。生气那不讲话，不走，不吃不喝，什么都不要了。年纪也高了，就是没有办法给他那个。 担心他以后怎么办?
Government figures estimate 1.2 million people in Taiwan have some kind of disability. Among them, over 940,000 people are over the age of 45, more than 90% of people live at home, and nearly 70% of people need assistance in their daily life. At care centers for people with disabilities, the problem of double-aging families is apparent.
我们遇到的 族群几乎是有半数以上，住宿型的服务或是未来的一些信托的一些使用的话，照顾者有哪一天出现了一些状况，没办法再继续照顾的时候，常常会出现，这会变成社会上的一个危机。
Taiwan is predicted to become a super-aged society by 2025, where over 20% of the population is aged 65 and above. The country's current solution for long-term care is to rely on migrant care workers. But with a range of problems including cost of care and labor rights abuses, a more comprehensive solution is needed. Andy Shui and Harrell Hughes for TaiwanPlus.
U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has hailed a step forward in U.S.-China relations. That's after wrapping up talks at the landmark four-day visit to Beijing. Yellen says the talks were substantive and direct, but she says the two countries still have significant disagreements over what she calls Beijing's unfair economic practices. U.S.-China relations have grown more tense in recent years amid U.S. concerns about human rights and tensions in the Taiwan Strait. Yellen's visit comes just weeks after a similar visit by U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken. To find out more about Yellen's trip and what it could mean for the U.S.-China relationship, our reporter Rick Lowrett spoke to political scientist Ian Drong.
What do you think Yellen set out to do in Beijing, and do you think she was successful?
I think the expectations were low. It seems that Yellen set out to communicate the U.S. position on the economics. She set out to get to know the new economics team in the PRC. So I think both sides are trying to feel their way around right now to see what is possible. So I don't think there's any conclusion. You see that from the readouts on the two sides. While the Yellen U.S. readout was positive, there's nothing particularly concrete there. The PRC readout was a lot more cautious.
Is there any sense of how the two sides are going to overcome some of the big issues that have created these trade tensions over the last few years?
So what we're seeing now are some very early steps, and we're seeing a slew of Biden administration officials going over to the PRC. So they are all responsible for different areas. Yellen's obviously responsible for the economic piece. So that, I think, will help Beijing and Washington get a better sense, right, of where along those whole range of different issues, including on trade, can they find some common ground that is feasible to work on.
To what extent do the other disagreements between China and the US, for example, differences over Taiwan, affect the trade relations?
So I suppose there's some aspect of it. These different issue areas are also interlinked. Taiwan is only one of them. So what we are seeing is sometimes the PRC could take one issue such as Taiwan and to use that as a means to, call for a shifting of the U.S. position or to put blame on the U.S. We've not seen that so far. So I suppose that suggests a degree of willingness by Beijing, in addition to Washington, to want to move forward on their relationship.
Hundreds of people marched through Thailand's capital on Sunday in support of the leading candidate for Prime Minister. Supporters of Peter Limjaroenrat took to the streets of Bangkok to call for a democratic transition of power. His Move Forward party won a shock victory in elections in May. Thailand's parliament will choose the next premier on Thursday, but it's unclear if Peter will have enough votes to be elected. At the rally, he urged lawmakers to give him their backing.
Asking for them to vote for me. We're not asking them to vote for my party. We're asking them to vote for democracy, for the majority, and return common sense to Thai politics so that we can finally move forward.
At least 19 people are dead after monsoon rains have lashed northern India. Dozens of people had to be rescued after days of heavy rainfall. Monsoons usually hit the country between April and September. Weather officials have warned the weather will last at least through Monday, with the capital New Delhi recording its most rain in decades.
हो गई है और पिछले 20 सालों का रिकॉर्ड टूटा है और रही बात तैयारियों की हमारी तैयारियां पूरी तरह से थी अब इस बार रिकॉर्ड टूटा है इसीलिए जलवायु की समस्या वो बढ़ चढ़कर आई है.
How many times have you wished you had an extra hand? Well, a team of cybernetics engineers in Japan are working to make that a reality. Eric Gao has this report.
Human and robotic limbs moving in harmony. This dancer is performing with extra arms attached to a harness on her back. She makes interacting with the cybernetic limbs look much more graceful than their inventor. Inami Masahiko and his team from Tokyo University created this system. Called the Jizai arms, which roughly translates to the freedom to do as you please, they hope it can help spur people's imagination.
でさらに新しいこれで身体を使った新しいパフォーマンスアートが生まれたりとか、そういう芸術が生まれたりとか、そういうクリエイティビティをどんどん刺激して、それを社会の中でより加速していく、そういうような世の中にしたいなというふうに思っています。
Jizai can support up to 6 robotic arms at once, and they can be swapped out with different types of hands or claws. The arms are remotely controlled by operators based on a traditional form of Japanese puppetry known as bunraku. Inami says that interactivity and shared experience is a core part of the design.
腕の特徴はですね、こうやって人の2本の腕以上にたくさん腕を増やせるってことだけではなくて、実はこれ背中のソケットでですね、外したりつけたりで、さらに別の人に貸したりということもできるようになるんですよね。
But arms are just the start. The team is hoping to expand to other kinds of limbs in the future.
付け替えると、今はこういう腕の形だけですけれども、例えば将来背中から羽を生やしたりとかですね、ドローンをつけたりとか、さまざまなアタッチメントを付け替えしながら、いろんな能力を獲得していく、そういうようなこともできるんじゃないかなというふうに思っています。
With so many possibilities on the horizon, Inami and his team hope their Jizai system will give people the freedom to explore the world in many different ways. Leon Yen and Eric Gao for TaiwanPlus.
We've all heard happiness is a warm puppy and that laughter is the best medicine. Now a hospital in Belgium is offering both. Bryn Thomas has the details.
Another happy reunion. This is Greta Done, a patient at St. Trudeau Hospital in Belgium. She's here seeking treatment for an infection. And as part of her recovery, she's had a very special visitor, her dog, Rambo.
Ik ben heel blij, want ik ben van de 13e al in het ziekenhuis. En dat is veel te lang voor uw hond te missen. Hè. Dat is enorm plezant dat je dat beestje kunt zien. En je kunt dat niet uitleggen aan een hond, hè, wat er scheelt. Waarom zit je ineens niet thuis? Waarom blijft je zoveel dagen weg? Je kunt dat niet uitleggen.
Animals are banned in most hospitals as they pose a hygiene threat. But this can be very frustrating for pet owners in long-term care. That's why St. Trudeau Hospital came up with a plan to reunite patients with their fur babies. They opened a dedicated pet visit pavilion earlier this year, and it's already had a noticeable impact.
We merkten vaker dat palliatieve patiënten of patiënten die er langdurig opgenomen zijn, dat die hun huisdier misten, omdat dat toch wel een deel van het gezin is vaak. En vaak organiseerden we dat dan hier in de binnentuin. Maar dat heeft eigenlijk de aanleiding gegeven dat we dit paviljoen hebben willen zetten. En we merken ook wel dat het voor het welzijn van de patiënten toch wel zeer positief is om hun huisdier soms eens dicht bij hun te hebben.
The new building is funded by a cancer charity. Patients use it to see either their cat or dog for 1 hour a week. It's proving essential in keeping spirits high.
Dus als je thuis komt, is het nooit niet slechtgezind, het is altijd even lief. Je ziet ook, het is altijd even fijn. Je beschouwt ook als een beetje als gezin, vind ik, gezinslid. Je hebt een hond, je moet er ook voor zorgen. En je bent nooit alleen als je een hond.
The new pet-friendly space will also be for rehabilitation with therapy dogs, so these furry friends can help even more people with their recovery. Andy Xue, Sandy Chi, and Bryn Thomas for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Remember to download the TaiwanPlus app for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally today, we leave you with images of fish poison tree blossoming in the central Taiwan's Miaoli County. I'm Sandy Chi, take care and see you next time.
For more stories from Taiwan and around the world, please visit us at TaiwanPlus.com.